Watching news updates here on TVRI World. I'm Rahmat Idris. We come to you live from Nusa Bali, Indonesia, with the latest coverage in conjunction with the third Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors Meeting, or Fmcbg, here in Nusa Bali, Indonesia. Finance ministers and central bank governors of the member states within the G20 and also the invitees beyond the G20 under Indonesia's presidency. There's a lot of expectations in the air in terms of what these finance ministers and central bank governors will come up in terms of finding solutions to speed up, to accelerate global economic recovery post-COVID-19 pandemic, exacerbated by the geopolitical tensions and the ongoing war in Ukraine, the invasion of Russia. In the meantime, the opening ceremony of the main event, the finance ministers and central bank governors meeting, is scheduled to take place here in the compounds of Bali Nusa Dua Convention Center on the 15th of July 2020, and that is tomorrow. And the meeting itself will last for 2 days until the 16th. In the meantime, the entire strings of deliberations and science events have taken place starting the 11th of July, a couple of days ago, with many things on the table for these leaders to talk about. The first days of the meetings has touched on the importance of having a digital currency within the member states of the G20. And on the second day, our leaders deliberated on the central bank policy mix, which is streamlining all the different regulations these ministers have in their own respective country and trying to find one strict normalizations to the regulations. And in the meantime, today, on the third day, here at the compounds of Bali Nusa Dua Convention Center, the day has started with a discussion on the climate change initiated by the Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Sri Indrawati Mulyani, here in Nusa Dua Bali. She attended herself very early in the morning, discussing with Minister of Finance from India and South Africa on how finance ministers from the member states of the G20 can come together and sort of find ways to provide financing mechanisms to support efforts towards energy transitions, towards a sustainable, rather, energy transitions. And that is, as a matter of fact, energy transition working group of its own within the G20, led by the Ministry of Energy and Renewable Resources. However, with the participations of Bank Indonesia, or the central bank of the country, it is further confirmed that all of these finance ministers and also central bank governors are committed to take part and also to lead up in the efforts to battle climate change. And the discussion was continued to roll out. In the meantime, in the second half of the day, there's been great talks on cross-border payments. Before we delve deeper into that, behind me, if you can see, what's going on right now is the high-level discussions on financial inclusion. It's about to start. The governor of Bank Indonesia, Peri Warjio, is already here. He will be leading the discussion on this. The high-level discussion will shine a light on optimizing the endowment fund, which is plenty to find here in the country of Indonesia and probably in many other countries across the world as well. And this is something that they need to discuss to find ways to optimize this large amount of fund, the endowment fund, for a sustainable financial inclusion. And the opening of this high-level discussion is currently transpiring. And returning to the topic of mentioned earlier on the cross-border payment here in Nusa Dua Bali, that has been quite a topic to deliberate for these finance ministers and also central bank governors, due to the fact that it is highly essential to ease the payment procedures for those working abroad, for the migrant workers, for small, medium enterprises who have channels, who have been making efforts to sort of penetrate international markets. This would really do them good. So all of these member states have agreed upon finding ways to provide a platform for these migrant workers and for all of these small, medium enterprises to be able to have the exchanges, the transactions made easy for them. However, the sort of contractual agreements on cross-border payments may not be as easy as it sounds, because all of these leaders, all of these finance ministers and the central bank governors still need to come together and also figure out how to address challenges within the concept of cross-border payments, as this will also make it probably easier, opening a bigger door for terrorism financing, as well as also the possibility of fraud and money laundering. So these are some of the issues, some key challenges that these leaders need to address and need to figure out ways to come through it. And another big challenge in cross-border payments would be harmonizing all of these different policies that governments have in between the nations of the G20 member countries and also beyond. I mean, beyond the G20 itself, all of these countries will be involved as well. However, all of these big economies, all of these countries that make up 85% of the world's GDP and 65% of the world population. So that's something to look forward to. And as you hear behind me now, that is the Quran verses preceding the opening ceremony of the high-level discussion on financial inclusion, optimizing endowment fund for a sustainable financial inclusion. We will be attending this event led by Central Bank Governor of Indonesia, Peri Warjio, and then we'll bring you more updates on the deliberations as we proceed towards the next news updates here on TVRI World. I'm Rahmat Idris. See you later.